Hey everyone, and welcome to the live trading session with OctaFX. My name is Ambrose Ebuka, and we're going to do some live trading. That's what we're doing in these live trading sessions, and also analyze some pairs together. But before I go into full details of this session and also talk to you guys about bonuses that you can get and also review the promo code, you can go ahead and let me know in the comments your name and where you're watching me from. You can also let me know if this is your first time, participating in an OctaFX live trading session. Let me know your name and where you're watching me from in the comments. And in the course of this session, if you have questions, you can also go ahead and ask your questions in the comments. I will be constantly looking at the comments to see if you have questions and answer your questions. And if there are any currency pairs you want me to analyze as well, you can go ahead and type these currency pairs in the comment section. Okay, so let me just quickly talk about the promo code. And this is an amazing promo code that you can use to get 100% bonus on your deposit. We're talking about 2 times your deposit. And the promo code is Ambrose E100. Ambrose E100. So apply the promo code, you can scan the QR code or follow the link in the video description. Or you can manually apply the promo code Ambrose E100 when you're making a deposit. There's always a section where you can, apply promo codes while you're making a deposit. This promo code is valid until 31st May 2023. Okay, I'm just looking at the comment section to see who we have here. Geshua from India. I don't know if I got the name correctly, but you can let me know if I got the name correctly. Usama from Pakistan. Ayo from Lagos, Nigeria. Always here with OctaFX live session. That's amazing. Thank you for always being part of this live trading sessions. Lolo from Mexico. Big welcome to you guys. Abdul. Welcome Abdul from Kano. Abdul is participating from Kano. Abdulaziz, okay, that's Abdul from Kano. Oni from Bayelsa. Massive welcome to every one of you for taking part in this live trading session. So, like I said, guys, we're going to analyze pairs and also take some trades as well. And if you have questions or if you have currency pairs you want me to look at, you can also go ahead and type in the comments or constantly look at the comments to see if you have questions or if you want me to look at any currency pair. Right. So before we actually go straight into analyzing, the first thing we'd want to do is actually understand what's happening in understand what's happening economically. You want to look at the economic events and see the impacts, the reports from this event, because they're definitely going to have, most of these high impact news, high impact events, or medium impact events usually have a significant impact on the domestic currency and other currencies relatively as well. So that's what we want to do, right? And if this is your first time participating in an OctaFX live trading session, if you want to use the economic calendar, it's on the OctaFX website. So you go to octafx.com, analysis and education, go to analytics, and then you just click on economic calendar. Okay, so I'm just going to filter this to only medium and high impacts. Events. So let's take a look at the economic or the major economic events happening that has happened today, because all these high impact events have already taken place. You can see the time, 3 p.m. And the reason for doing this is so that we don't get cut off on the wrong side of the markets or by any surprises. So we've had a speech from the governor of the Reserve Bank of Australia, and usually these governors or this board of directors, they have more influence on or more influence over their domestic currency more than any other person. And he talked about, how the inflation rate of the country is corrosive, and if it continues to stay high, then they would continue to increase the interest rate, right? So we've also had retail price index, um, user price index as well, and consumer price index from GBP, and this has cost, which I'm also going to show you guys. We're going to look at the GBP USD chart and would identify that there's been a significant or huge sell-off immediately after this UK CPI report. And one of the key contributors to that sell-off or that downside comes from, transports, specifically passenger transport and motor fuels, restaurants and hotels as well. And we've also had the US retail sales reports, and the US retail sales jumped 3% in January, because most customers, or most consumers rather, spent a lot on vehicles, or boosted spending on vehicles, furnitures, and clothing, and this has given us like a significant idea or indication that the US dollar could be gaining some strength in the coming weeks. And the importance of understanding the economic events that happen in the markets is to help you with your analysis and your forecasting of future prices. So, like I said, if this is the first time and you want to understand how to read these events with the OctaFX economic calendar, then you can pay attention to these reports. So you want to pay attention to high impact and also some medium impact economic events, because these are like events that drive the market. These are events that cause volatility to the markets, right? So you want to pay attention to the speeches, the high impact events, and you want to also look at the reports, the previous reports, forecast, and the actual, right? And we've been seeing a lot of negative reports on GBP, and I don't think that's really good for GBP in the coming weeks. But just to understand what these reports are, you can click on any of these economic events, and you can see there that OctaFX has already identified what each report means. So basically, a high reading is seen as positive or bullish for the GBP, while a low reading is seen as negative or bearish, right? We're seeing minus 0.6, and we're seeing the previous being 0.4. So we obviously know that it's lower, right? Same thing goes for the consumer price index year over year. You click and then you identify what this event or the impact this event is going to have on the pounds, right? So the high reading is seen as positive for the pounds, and the low reading is seen as negative or bearish, and it's obviously 5.8 as compared to the previous reading, which was 6.3%. And that's a low reading, right? So this is just how you can use these reports to identify the strength and the weaknesses of different currencies. You can also use it to compare strength and weaknesses of different currencies to identify buying and selling opportunities. And to do that, to identify these buying and selling opportunities, you have to apply technical analysis, right? Because you obviously want to know areas where buying pressure and selling pressure could kick in. Jacob from Lagos, Nigeria, Blessing from Lagos. Massive welcome to you guys, and thank you for joining. So if you have currency pairs you want me to look at, you can go ahead and type in the comments. We also have a section where I just answer your questions. So if you have questions, you can type it, and I would look at comments to answer your questions. So we're going to start with the dollar index. And the reason I like to start with the dollar index is because most of the currencies or the major currencies in the markets, and these currencies are major because they are the most traded, actively traded, most liquid as well. And these currencies are actually paired with USD, right? So you want to pay attention to what's happening with the dollar index because it's also going to have a significant impact on these major currencies. But before we do that, I just want to highlight really important factors that could influence your analysis, and this has to do with having a framework. I'm just going to keep this on the charts so that while I talk you can see it as well. All right, so your framework is basically like a back end, right? What you do on the back end, the things that help you identify buying and selling areas on your charts. And the framework should consist of market structure, and these are basically the things that help you perceive the market, the things that help you understand what's going on in the market. And this market structure involves support and resistance, which is where you can find buying pressure kicking in, selling pressure kicking in as well. You also want to have entry triggers, which are some of the things that would trigger you to enter a trade, some of the stipulations or the confirmations that you should see before you place a trade. And these entry triggers could be candlestick patterns, candlestick momentum, or the moving average indicator, like a break above the moving average or a bounce off at the moving average indicator, which we're also going to use in this analysis as well. And for every trade you open, for every trade you execute, you also want to have like an exit plan, right? So your exit plan, just call that exit triggers. Let's call it exit triggers as well. So your exit triggers is obviously when you use your stop loss, and you can use swing highs and lows for your stop loss, depending on the time frame. You can also use ATR indicator. You can use a risk appetite as well. But it's actually very important that you use market conditions to identify your entries and your exits, because then you'll be trading what you see and not what you think, right? And the last thing that should be on your framework be risk management, which is your risk to reward ratio, and your stop loss levels as well, and using conservative lot size. Okay, let's just put this here. Okay, so since we now that we understand this framework and the things that should be included in your framework, I'm looking at the dollar index. And remember, I told you guys that the reason why we pay attention to the dollar index is because major currencies are paired with US dollars, right? We have NZD USD, GBP USD, Euro USD, AUD USD. These currencies are paired with USD, and that's why we're paying attention to the dollar index. So I'm just going to go the higher time frame. Let's go to the daily time frame. obviously for a very long time, I think from November 2022, dollar index has been on a downtrend, and now we are starting to see a recovery. Right, we're starting to see dollar push up the upside, consolidation, another push to the upside, and where dollar index is currently at is a zone that it has made a retest in the past. I'm just going to go down to like the 4-hour time frame so you guys can see that clearly. So last week, this was where the dollar index was at. I think this was 7th February. And price has tried to break above this zone in the past. It couldn't, and it has currently broken and is trading above 104. Now, this gives us the indication that the US dollar has gained some strength. So we want to see a continuation because this candlestick has not actually closed bullish. So we want to see a continuation of this bullish momentum to actually use that to identify or to, relate this US dollar with other currencies like the pounds, the AUD. I mean, we had the news released on AUD this morning, and you know what happens with the interest rates being increased constantly, right? So the US dollar has gained some strength. I want to see this break above. Let me identify the level for you guys as well. Okay, it's already identified. So I want to see the break above 104 sustained bullish, right? And then I can use that as like a bias to identify the direction relative to other currency pairs. So the first pair I would like to look at is GBP USD. I'm seeing comments on USD JPY. We're going to look at USD JPY. I'm also seeing GBP JPY. I would also pay attention to that as well. Okay, let's just go to the daily time frame on GBP USD. So in previous times, and this is also something that you can apply to your strategy or your trading abilities, where you have to like look left to be able to understand what could happen on the right side, right? So you can look at historical price data and identify what's going to happen on or what could happen in the future, right? So we've seen that in previous times, as at from October we up to February this year, pound dollar market has been trading above this significant support trend line. I also need to identify that as well. And the reason you use these key levels, trend lines, support, resistance, is because when the market trades on these levels, or when the market trends on these levels, when it reverses, it's also going to respect those levels that it's made a retest on or traded at. Okay, so we have this break below this significant support trend line here. So going to indicate that as well. Okay, you can clearly see that the market is now trading out of this trend line, right? What has that done? It has reduced the bullish momentum, and the market is trying to turn the downside. The market is trying to make a reversal. You can see how many times the market tried to break above this significant level 1.242 and was rejected multiple times. And what happened? The bearish momentum came in, sellers took over and has brought the market way down to this point. And if you remember what I said about the market reacting to previous levels, so you see the market reacted to this level. And another thing that I could do here would be to use like my Fibonacci indicator and see. I think market started reversing at the 61.8 extension, as you can see here. Let me just also highlight that as well. Okay, so it started reversing from here. The bears took over, brought the market way down to this point. So this was a good opportunity to place a sell trade and make some profit. About 200 pips in profit on this trade. If you have trades opened on GBP USD, sell trades open on pound dollar right now, you can adjust your stop loss into profit, or you can secure some profit. If you don't have any trades placed on pound dollar right now, the direction of the market is obviously coming down to this point, right? But we want to see this candlestick close bearish and the next candlestick also show some bearish momentum. But this is where the market is headed, right? 1.1895 the coming weeks. But I want to see this candlestick close bearish below this level, and the next candlestick also show me some bearish momentum. And that can also be a good opportunity to up on the trade, or see something like a consolidation here. I was wrong too. So you could see something like a consolidation here. And then a breakout below this consolidation, be a flag, a bearish flag, or whatever it is. You break out below and then you can hop on the sell trade. So my overall directional bias on BPUSD is actually bearish. Remember, guys, you want to get confirmation from candlestick momentum. Because right now we're seeing that the recent candlestick is like a doji candlestick, and doji candlesticks are indecision candlesticks, and you don't want to open trades on indecision candlestick because they don't show you momentum. You can wait till the candlestick has formed, and then you see if it's going to push back up and trade within the zone as it's trading right now, or break to the downside, and then your first target would obviously be at 1.190. Is right here. So that's it on GBP USD. I'm also going to look at Euro USD right now. Let's go to the daily time frame first. All right, so clearly, the Euro USD market has been in an uptrend since November on the daily time frame. You can see the market create multiple higher highs and higher lows rather, and the market is currently at a significant level as well. I think I also need to, or at a key level, because this used to be resistance when the market was at this point, and the market broke above this resistance and has come way down to find support at this previous resistance, right? So the same thing, I want this bearish momentum candles because it has shown me some rejection using this week, and this is on the daily time frame. And it has shown me some rejection from the previous candlestick. It closed bullish, but it's also a sign of bull rejection, and then the bears has taken over, formed this bearish momentum candlestick. I want this candlestick to close bearish and the next candlestick to break below this point. I'm just going to bring that down a bit. To break below this point for me to look for selling opportunities on lower time frames like the 15 minutes and just sell or short Euro USD way down to this point. But right now, overall directional bias on Euro USD, I'm going to say I'm neutral because market hasn't shown me signs of continuous bearish pressure. Market could still make a reversal and trade in this bullish channel like it's doing right now. This could just be a bounce off at support level and then a continuation to the upside. So these are the things that I want to look out for. Let me just go to the 4-hour time frame and get some more detail. So we can clearly see that the market is trying to like trade or move in like a ranging format. You can see the bounce off at this significant support and resistance levels. I think let me identify this. By the way, this is the 4-hour time frame, guys. So we've gone to the lower time frames and we're getting more detail on what's happening in the Euro USD market, right? So you see that it's clearly bouncing off, but one important thing you should keep in mind is that we're still trading within. We don't have any sustained bearish momentum out of this channel until we break this support level, and we don't also have any sustained bearish momentum below the 100 period moving average. So until we have that, until we have this break below this neckline here, and which is also good, which is also going to be a sustained bearish momentum or movement below the 200 period moving average, then I could say look for selling opportunities and we'll scale Euro USD, or we short Euro USD way down to 1.05. So that's what we want to be patient for, because price is currently sitting at a key level, right? This is the neckline. If you're familiar with M patterns, or bounces at support and resistance levels, then you would know that the markets would definitely react to this zone. It's not just going to break through and go down, or even if it does, it's still going to make some consolidations before it continues to the downside or pulls over to the upside. The overall bias on, or directional bias on Euro USD, is that I'm neutral until I see something that happens just below this support, or a bounce off at this support. Take me back here. You can capitalize on that and also buying opportunities and buy up to this point. I think if you're seeing buying momentum or bullish momentum, and by bullish momentum you want to look out for candlesticks, bullish candlesticks, right? So if you're looking to these buys, when you see that, your target should just be somewhere around here, right? Because the markets could react to the trend line before it gets to the resistance level. That's what you want to look out for on Euro USD. Let's look at AUD USD. And by the way, if you have questions on this analysis, you can still ask in the comments. I know you guys have your personal questions which you're asking, and I'm seeing them. But if you have questions on the analysis that I'm making right now, you can go ahead and ask questions in the comments. Okay. So we're pretty much looking at a similar thing to the Euro USD on the AUD USD markets, the Aussie dollar market, and we've seen that for a long time. I think since December 2022, the Aussie dollar market has been trading above this significant support trend line. Let me just indicate that as well. Right? I mean, we've seen a lot of patterns formed even as it's trading above this significant support trend line, but this is the first time that it's breaking this support trend line. And you know that the more price bounces off at a significant level, the stronger the level is. And now we're looking at a break below this trend line. And price is currently sitting at a very significant level as well, because we're seeing previous times where price has been at these zones and has made some really amazing reactions. I'm just going to highlight it from take it all the way. You can see where current market price is, and at this level, what has happened in the past? Price made it retest, made a test, a retest, another retest, finally broke below, and this resistance became support. Price came to find support here, 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 couldn't break below here as well, here again, and the price is currently sitting at this point, right? So I think I could also use the okay, so we didn't really see any bounce off at 61.8 extension levels on the Fibonacci, but you know, most oftentimes the market also makes these reversals or these turnarounds on the 50 point and the 71.8 as well. That could have been a good opportunity, you know, at this resistance level. This could have been a good opportunity to hop on sales on the AUD USD markets. So if you have trades open, both trades open, then you can adjust your stop loss to areas like 0.693 levels. And if you don't have any trades placed yet on Australian dollar, then you actually need to just zoom in. Keep an eye out on what happens in these zones, because this is a level where market has bounced off at in the past, bounced off here, 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 and the price is currently sitting at that point. So what do you want to see? You want to see bullish momentum candlesticks like this, 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 and they follow up, and that could give you the indication to execute buy trades or buy orders, and you can take your first target at areas like this, areas like 0.694, and then second target could be 0.7, and then buy trades just to trade the bounce off at this support level. If we don't see this bullish momentum candlesticks, then we would be expecting a break below 0.686 levels, and then I'll be looking for targets. Looking to take our targets, our profit targets at 0.65 and at 0.675 and 0.665 as well. So remember, you're using combinations of supply and demand, using combinations of your trend lines, momentum. If you also use indicators, that can be like an added confirmation for you as well to identify areas where you can, you know, see buying pressure, selling pressure, and execute trades as well. So that's what you're doing from like an analysis, good analysis. So I'm pretty much still neutral on AUD USD because of where the price is currently at, and I'm already seeing that the bearish momentum is beginning to slow down a bit at this point, but you can never say. Market could begin to break below, and until it does that, then I could start looking for bearish opportunities or sell opportunities on AUD USD. Let's go even lower. So yeah, a break below this key level would be an indication to short AUD USD all the way down to 0.6750 levels as, target levels on AUD USD, right? And if that happens, then the Aussie dollar markets would start to trade below the 200 period moving average, and that could indicate a reversal on the Aussie dollar markets, right? So it could trade all the way down, and then you could see a turnover in the markets from an uptrend, and I'll be moving or turning all the way to a downtrend. Okay, I'll just look at gold lastly, before I take your questions, and also look at your preferred pairs as well. Let's take some of this off. Okay, the gold market is also currently sitting at a significant support level. But before that, we saw this massive sell-off on gold, and bearish flag pattern with the consolidation, and another sell-off to the downside, even though this was a bit shaky. But the market broke below the significant support, and where next was it headed? The next one, right? And this is why it's important to have your levels mapped out, because at the end of the day, if you have your levels mapped out, then you can also identify okay, I'm just going to drag it. I'm going to drag this one. So if you have your levels mapped out, it just makes it, a bit, just makes you a bit comfortable to identify the next direction or possible direction of the market. So support broken, next support broken, another one. This is broken as well. We're headed down to this point, right? So the gold market is currently sitting at another significant support level, and I expect it to also dance around here for a bit before it breaks even lower to the downside, at least to 1820 before a push to the upside, right? Gold could also show some bullish signs here, and this is actually a good spot. This is actually a good level to hop on buy trades on gold when you see the bullish momentum start to appear in candlesticks, engulfing candlesticks. So you see some morning star candlesticks and so forth. So I'm expecting gold to break below this significant support and get all the way down to this point before we get to see some, bullish momentum. That's my expectations. But if that doesn't happen and I see bullish momentum at this point, then I'll be looking for buying opportunities. So I'm just going to take a few of your questions. Okay. I'll take your questions and also give you answers to this question. King Daniel is saying, what time frame is for day trader analysis? So as a day trader, first you're looking to close your trades within the day. So you want to use, for analysis, first you want to use 4 hour and daily and 1 hour time frame. And I'm not saying you should place trades on 4 hour and 1 hour time frame or even daily time frames, but you need those higher time frames regardless of your trading preference, because you want to understand the overall direction of the market. There's a lot of noise on the lower time frames. I understand that as a day trader, you want to close your trades within the day, but trust me, the 15-minute time frame is not going to show you as much clear trend as compared to the 4 hour time frame or the daily time frame, right? So for analysis to identify the overall direction of the trend, we want to use the higher time frames, the 4 hour, the daily time frame, to identify overall direction, and then you can go lower to like 15 minutes time frame to look for entries, identify areas where you can identify candlestick momentum. I think that, yeah, candlestick momentum, and then you execute your trades on the 15 minutes time frame or the 5 minutes time frame as well, right? But don't neglect the higher time frames, because they give you like a clear direction of where the market is coming from and where the market could head to. On the AUD USD, the kind of bullish momentum that we would be expecting to buy might give us a low risk reward considering the first TP. Let's look at AUD USD. So I think I said the first TP would be this horizontal line. Let me just highlight that as well. Let's see, let's call that first target. So I'm going to assume you're saying it's going to give you a low risk to reward because you want to put your stop loss somewhere around here, right? But if you want to execute trades, remember you're using the 4 hour time frame for analysis, right? So if you want to execute trades and you go to, let's say, like the lower time frame, like the 15 minutes time frame, right? What's the just zoom this out so you can see it clearly. Okay, so yeah, this is the targets. Just gonna drag it here. So now you're executing your trades on the 15 minutes time frame. Your stop loss levels can be anywhere below this. Can be anywhere, probably at this candlestick, at the low of this candlestick, or just slightly below it. And then you're going to have a trade that looks like this. So let's say, for example, bullish momentum shows in somewhere here, and then you want to execute a buy trade and you want to go long, right? So your risk to reward would look something like this, right? And now you're having like an 18 pips stop loss and a 59 pips target, right? And you can even, just to give the market more room, you can even just adjust that to like probably 25 pip stops. And you can have a decent 1 to 2.5 risk to reward ratio. If you want to keep it at that 18, then you're going to have like a 1 to 3. If you want to keep like 20 pips, you're going to have like a 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio. So I think maybe you didn't really understand the stop loss and the risk because you're trying to like base your trades on the 4-hour time frame. So I believe that this 15 minutes information that I've given you has answered your questions, but if it hasn't, you can still let me know in the comments. Is the app you are using, is it the same as the MT5 and the MT4 on the OctaFX app? Because I'm new on this, so I don't want to make a mistake. The software I'm using is actually TradingView, but you can still do this analysis on the OctaFX web terminal, right? So for you to access the web terminal, the OctaFX web terminal, you have access to some tools. You have to be logging in to your trading account from your web browser. Okay, so you have to log in from your PC rather, and then you can have access to the web terminal. I think I'll just show you what the web terminal looks like. Let me just show you guys what the web terminal looks like. So this is what the web terminal looks like, right? So when you access this web terminal, you log into your personal area, you now have access to trend lines, the horizontal lines, and then you can just use, the variety of tools at your disposal to still make your analysis. Just make view on XAUUSD. I just analyzed XAUUSD, so I can do a playback on the video to like rewatch and understand the analysis I made on XAUUSD. So, I'm just gonna take one more question. Michelle, Jerry's asking how to sell. So if you want to sell, I'm logged into the web terminal, so I'm just going to show you how to do the web terminal, right? So what you want to do is log into your personal area, go to OctaFX.com, click on login. Yeah. It's going to take you to your dashboard. You can choose your live account you want to trade. Trade takes you to where you can log into your web terminal. Then you just click on this plus sign. It's the second icon below file view insert chart options help. It's the second one. Then you can choose the instrument you want to trade, the market execution or your pending order. Then you can put your stop loss and take profit levels. Click on either buy or sell, right? So that's how to trade with OctaFX. Want to know how to do it with the app? You can click the OctaFX official channel, the tutorial section, the playlist, and or that can help you understand better how to execute buy and sell trades as well. All right, guys, it's been an amazing live trading session. Remember that to your analysis, you should have a framework that helps you to an information areas where buying and selling pressure could kick in. Also apply risk management on your trades as well. You want to make a deposit to OctaFX or to your OctaFX trading. The promo is E100. So you type Ambrose and you add another 100. To apply the promo code, you can scan the QR code screen description, or you can manually use the promo code your deposit. So the section, you're going to see a section for promo code. Just type Ambrose E100, get a 100% bonus to your deposits, right? You can draw this bonus so you can use it to trade and make more profit after meeting the requirements. The promo code is valid until 31st. Thank you guys for participating, and see you in the next live trading session.